All right, people, we got ASPI. They did not have a very good week with their earnings release. And as a speculative nuclear pellet people, we knew the earnings was not going to do them kindly. And then on Friday, he had his investor conference. Maybe it brought up a little sentiment, but not much. But ASPI, they have a lot going on here, people, all right? And here's going to be their investor presentation there. And so we know what ASPI is doing. They have their claim to fame the isotopes here, which are going to be used in medical and semiconductor industry. Then we have our QLE. That one's going to be the Quantum Leap, their subsidiary. That one would be for the nuclear fuel technologies. And if we remember, that one was the one that had the backing from Eric and Don Jr. I very much think that is paving the way for something exciting, people. I really, really do. And they also have their partnerships with Fermi America and TerraPower. And the Fermi America is actually this one, Fermi America, is founded by the former Energy Secretary, Rick Perry, which I think that is excellent. And they want to be the world's largest data center complex powered by nuclear power plants. So keeping an eye on stuff that Fermi America does and TerraPower as they progress is a good indicator of how successful ASPI can be. We got their milestones there. Agreements for isotopes critical for new technologies, generate sufficient revenues, enter additional supply contracts. We certainly want that. And then the spin-out. Commercial production of isotopes at their facility in South Africa. Start constructing a first isotope facility outside of South Africa. This is what sentiment on X not happy about. They're expanding and obviously money spending there. And when we look at the earnings, they had the 4.9 million revenue, which you could say is that definitely 18% year-over-year growth in the radiopharmaceuticals. And people, these industries are relatively new. Well, they're not new, I guess, but they're certainly going to be expanding at a rapid rate in the coming years. And their cash balance, 113 million. That's not too bad, but it certainly is not going to fund all the expansion they have. So they're going to need some partnerships, or sentiment is they're going to be diluting. I mean, does ASPI fall further than $6? I guess we'll see next week, but if they don't, I think that's a very good sign. And they had the first lutinated doses shipped in South Africa. The PET lab's operational with rising doses sold. That's important. The spec delivery growing U.S. expansion in the East Coast nuclear acquisitions in Florida, their acquisitions. And also the Renergen one. This Renergen deal didn't, people don't take kindly to that one, but that one gives them this helium. It's going to help with their saving money as they're producing all this, because it's going to get an energy company, basically. With the helium. I don't know what I have to look at that one. But then acquired cesium for nuclear waste treatment. That could certainly be interesting as well. And their targets, 2026 to 2027, 50 to 70 million in revenue, people. And Andrew Ainscow, he's saying 2026 is going to be an exciting, fast-paced year. We shall see, people. We shall see. I believe in ASPI. I think that this is something that's going to play a big role, because this HALEU fuel, as I was looking through their investor, also it coming from the isotope industry being dominated by Russia, that's certainly going to play a geopolitical factor, because if Europe or America has the excuse, well, I don't know about America right now, but Europe definitely would rather buy from ASPI than most likely from Russia. And there's their facilities there. And I want to do the nuclear one. This nuclear medicine, that is going to be, this one, they're saying it, a 1.8 billion. We'll see. And then they have their position emission tomography, the PET, and that's the gallium one. Oh, there are currently 2 FDA-approved gallium drug products. So, primary commercial source of gallium generators, which are unlikely to produce sufficient isotopes to meet the anticipated demand. Another exciting development that ASPI has, 10 million. Medical tracing is a scientific unique used back to the molecule. Incorporates radioisotope through a reaction. I'm not exactly sure what this one's going to do, but if I was to look at the revenue, entered a multi-year supply agreement with minimum annual revenue of 2.5 million. ASPI to start commercial production of carbon-14 in a 1H 2025. That. And here are some timelines, as you can see, people. It's all about 2026. And these would be the isotopes that they're producing there. And the semiconductor industry, we all know how important this one is for their semiconductors, their data centers, EV, quantum computing. And here we have this chart once again, looking at that 2026, 2027, the helium-3 one. That I assume is from the Nergen one. And this, okay, so they want to make Iceland. A local green energy provider has provided a quote for 10-year energy supply, approximately 1/5 of the cost in mainland Europe, 1/3 of the cost in the U.S., and 3% of current energy costs in South Africa. Policy in Iceland aims to benefit high-tech green industry, supporting the country's long-held ESG-based ethos. The plant location will be conveniently placed near international airport and shipping port. We'll see what ends up happening with that, because that is certainly going to be a big project to take on. And here you have the HALEU part for your small nuclear reactors. They're going to say how one of the HALEU, or the main concern, they require high ASA, low enriched uranium. And currently there's no commercial supplier. I think this has a lot to do with why Don Jr. and Eric Trump invested in QLE. Why would those two do that if they were not expecting big returns on it? That right there. And combined with that gave me an all new confidence. Pretty much you could say their investment pretty much put me at 100%. Because the TerraPower thing, that was when I first was like, I think ASPI could really do it. If Bill Gates' power plant has chosen them, that's a big deal. And then this Fermi America thing, that is another one that is catching my eye. I think they do it. They also have these lasers things. They're doing a laser device to produce large numbers of photon. Not exactly sure what the science behind all of these is, but they will be costly. And basically, people, I really think we are going to be wanting some investment, hopefully some government investment. It brought visibility and credibility to QLE's uranium ambitions in a sector buoyed by global nuclear renaissance. We are in a nuclear renaissance, people. I think that's exciting. Here's our grok breakdown. What are they going to say? They still have their target of $11 target. They're going to need something positive. S1 updates pricing in November could unlock value. The success might spin off a separate listing, boosting ASPI's multiple. Acquisition closes. Their Renergen finalization. I don't know if people really cared so much about that, to be honest. In fact, I think people saw that as a down, but I think it's a positive. And their carbon-12 shipments in December. Silicon 38 validations to prove commercial traction. And I guess we'll keep seeing ASPI's future, but certainly people, they're on a down. I did expect that with earnings, because look at SMR's earnings. You have SMR, they're the same one there. Still sitting like shit under 20 after the earnings. So, and what is Oklo? And well, Oklo back to under 100. Damn. And look at the Oklo. I mean, if you're going to use an example of speculative, you don't get more speculative than Oklo. And there they are, 88. But ASPI, they are technically speculative. They've taken on a lot of big endeavors, but I think they can do it, people. I'm confident on ASPI.